This video is going to focus on just using the order of operations with rational numbers. Um, Now, a few things that I always want to point out. Uh, First off, there's more than one way of showing your work. There always is. You just need to make sure that you keep yourself organized. That's the most important aspect of mathematics, really, is make sure that you stay organized. Two, we are going to look at a couple of ways for showing how to find our common denominator. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, with this question here, I've chosen to use this example for a very specific reason. And that reason is the fact that this number right here, this can be reduced. So whenever you're working with fractions, if you can reduce something down, do so. Granted, you can do this at the end of this question, but if you do it as you go, it will make life easier. So here we have 4/18. And both 4 and 18 are divisible by 2. So 4/18 is equal to 2/9. Okay, so essentially the question that we're looking at is 2/9 plus 2/5. Now, we need a common denominator. And our common denominator is always going to be the least common multiple of the denominators that we have. In this case, 9 and 5. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can go about finding this. I'm going to start off by, again, showing the way that I used in class. But I will also show you some other ways of finding the least common multiple. So what I like to do is write the numbers in their prime factorization. So 9 is just 3 squared, and 5, its prime factorization is itself. So what does this tell us? This tells us that our least common multiple of 9 and 5 has to equal 3 squared times 5. In other words, we're taking the largest value of each prime number. So here we have 2 3's, so we bring the 3 squared. And here we have 5, so we bring the 5. And this is, of course, 45. So we can write this as a fraction with a denominator of 45. So 45. Now, I have to figure out, what did I multiply this 9 by to get 45? Well, I know that I multiplied that 9 by a 5. And if I multiplied the denominator by a 5, I need to multiply the numerator by a 5 so that I don't change anything. So we have here 5 times 2. And then over here, what did I multiply the 5 by? Well, I had to multiply the 5 by my 9. which means I need to multiply my 2 by my 9, which means this is going to be 2 times 9. So we have 45 as our denominator and 10 plus 18 in our numerator. These two add together to give us 28. So we have 28 over 45. The only thing left to answer is, does this fraction reduce? If you don't see right away, an easy way to go about it is to just factor both numbers completely. So 28 I can write as 2 and 14, and I can write this as 2 and 7. 45 I can write as 9 and 5, or 3 and 3. So if we look at these two, we see that there are no numbers at the bottom of this breakdown that match any of the numbers at the bottom of this breakdown. So this is the final answer. This is the reduced answer. Okay, let's look at a second. So here we have 3 halves minus 5 eighths. Okay. Again, we have some things that we have to do. And the first bit of that is we need to find the least common multiple of 2 and 8. Well, 2. This time I'm going to show a table version, 8. So 1, 2, 3. So the way that this table works is, we'll go up to 4. The way this table works is I take whatever number's here and I multiply it by what's here. So 2 times 1 is 2. 8 times 1 is 8. And then I keep going out. So 4, 16, 6, 24, and 8, 32. Now, I'm going to stop here because we now have our least common multiple, which is 8. I have to ask myself, 2 times, since I now have a common denominator of 8, 2 times what gives me 8? Well, that's 4. So I need to do 4 times 3. And then over here, 8 times what gives me 8? Well, that's 1. So I have 5 times 1. And this is going to give me 12 minus 5. And 12 minus 5 is 7. So I have 7 eighths. This does not reduce at all. So this is my final answer, 7 eighths. Okay. We are now going to get a little bit more complicated in our original equation, but if we look here, we have division, subtraction, and multiplication. So we need to make sure that we're using the order of operations. And according to our order of operations, we always start at parentheses, which we don't have any here. We then go to exponents, we don't have any. We then do multiplication and division from left to right. So here I'm going to first do my division, then I'm going to do my multiplication. So division of fractions, I change the operation to multiplication, and I take the reciprocal of the second number. And then we still have over here our multiplication. 3 over 7 times 2 over 1. So what does this give us? Well, 2 times 8 is 16. 3 times 1 is 3, so we have 16 thirds minus 3 times 2 is 6, and 7 times 1 is 7. So now I have this set up. Okay, now I want to find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 3 and 7. And we'll do this via the table again. Even though we hopefully see what it is. But in case we don't, we'll just do it via the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Going out this far because I think we see what's going to happen. 1, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. And for the 7, we have 7. Sorry, that should be a 3. For the 7, we have 7. Then here we have 14 and then 21. So 21 has to be our least common multiple. So 21 is in our denominator. What did we do to the 3 to get 21? We multiplied by 7. So we have 7 times 16 minus, what did we do to the 7? We multiplied it by 3. So that would be 6 times 3. So this gives us, let's see, what does this give us? Well, 7 times 16 is 140 minus 28, so 112. So we have 112. And then 6 times 3 is 18. So we have 112 minus 18. And this is going to give us 94 over 21. Okay. So we need to figure out, is this divisible? Does this have a common factor? Well, we know it's not 3 because 21 is divisible by 3, but 94 is not. So it might be 7, because that's the only other possibility, right? Well, 94 divided by 7. 1 carry a, let's see, 1, that gives us 7 minus equals 2, 4. So we have 7 going into 24, which it does 3 times, but that does not divide evenly. So this clearly does not have any reducing factors. So this is our final answer. Okay. We are going to look at one more, and that's this one. Now, this one has a few things going on for it. We still need to use our order of operations because that's just how we deal with situations in this case. But if we look at our order of operations, what we have is um, we actually have a set of parentheses, though they are hidden. So what do I mean by that? Parentheses, exponents. Well, our parentheses are our numerator of this first fraction. So to simplify those parentheses, we have to do addition, which means we need to know the least common multiple of 6 and 3, which is 6. So we have 1 minus 4, because we had to multiply the 3 by 2 to get 6. So 1 minus 4 over 6 over 5 halves plus 7/8. Okay, well, 1 minus 4 is negative 2. So we have negative 2 over 6 over 5 over 2 plus 7/8. Okay, this part reduces, so let's go ahead and do that. Negative 1 over 3 . Okay, so Adam made a computational error. Let's go back and fix that. Okay, so we have this set up. Now we do our subtraction. Well, 1 minus 4 is negative 3 over 6. This is going to be divided by 5 halves plus 7/8. Okay, so we can reduce this negative 3/6, and the negative 3/6 becomes negative 1/2 divided by 5 halves plus 7/8. Okay, so now we look at what we have. We've done all the parentheses, we had no exponents, so now we're at multiplication and division from left to right. So here's a division situation. So how does that work? Well, we have negative 1/2 times 2/5 plus 7/8. And this becomes negative 1/5 plus 7/8. Okay, so now we've done all of our multiplication and division, so we are just left with addition and subtraction. But we need a common denominator. So now we come back and we look for the least common multiple of 5 and 8, which is 40. So what did we multiply 5 by to get 40? 8. So we have negative 1 times 8. And what did we multiply 8 by to get 40? 5. So we have 7 times 5. And this is going to give us negative 8 plus 35 divided by 40. And this simplifies down to 27 over 40, which I've run out of room down here, so I'm going to put that just a little higher than it was. But as I'm doing that, does 27 out of 40 reduce? The answer is no. So 27 out of 40. So this is our final answer. Okay, that does it for this video. Hopefully it is helpful, and I will see you in the next one.